It's only been about 8 months since I uploaded the Minecraft Memories prologue, but it feels like it was years ago, back before all of this happened. You see, the world has become a much darker place since then. Let me start from the beginning. Senior year was really looking up for me. For the first time ever, I was enjoying school. And most importantly, I felt like I belonged. I made new friends, got the lead role in the play, posted my first ever high production YouTube video, and even met my boyfriend for the first time in the 4 years we'd been together. Life was amazing, and everything was going so well. But then it happened. In January, it was just a meme. I remember seeing PewDiePie wearing a bunch of masks and making a joke about it. We forgot it existed almost instantly, but in March we were quickly reminded. On March 1st, there was chatter around my school about COVID. Mainly lighthearted jokes. We weren't worried as we knew it could never affect us. On the 8th, the conversation was larger. We talked in civics about how it was affecting other countries. But it was still just some fantasy to us. Something experienced by some countries on the other side of the world. Not us. On the 9th, Italy imposed a national quarantine, and the conversation started to become much more serious. Worry began to creep into my head that the school might get cancelled for a month, which would mean the cancellation of the play. But everyone I talked to told me that there was no way in hell school would be cancelled. We were always the only school open during a bad snowstorm after all. On the 11th, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 to be a global pandemic. At rehearsal, I was talking to people in the drama club, telling them about how the play was probably going to be cancelled. They said it would never happen. And even if school was cancelled, it'd probably be for only a week. The next day on the 12th, an announcement was made. All after-school activities were cancelled until further notice. At this point, the grim reality had set in for me. During the rehearsal session on the 13th, someone got a notification on their phone. The US had just declared a national state of emergency. This is when it began to sink in for everyone else as well. On the 14th, New Hampshire declared its own state of emergency, and school was cancelled the next day. The school soon announced its plans to transfer over to online learning. On the 19th, I had to go to school to pick up what supplies I had left there. It felt dystopian. Never before in my life had I encountered something like it. We had to wait outside the building in a line 6 feet apart. Only 4 people were allowed inside the building at a time. I'll never forget how it felt, walking through the building that day. The school felt like it had been frozen in time. Everything was exactly the way we had left it on the 13th. From that point forward, everything went downhill. We were supposed to go back to school in April, then May, and then finally it was cancelled outright. I wasn't able to perform as the lead in the play. I wasn't able to go to prom with my boyfriend. The senior trip didn't happen. I wasn't even able to say goodbye to the people I'd grown up with. Graduation still ended up happening, but not in the way anyone wanted it. My mental health took a massive hit. I was isolated, alone, and afraid. But at least I had my boyfriend. Not long after graduation, my boyfriend broke up with me, telling me that he needed a break because due to COVID, we couldn't meet each other's needs. I'm intentionally keeping the details vague for both our privacies, but it's debatable whether or not we ever broke up. At the beginning of August, I learned he had a girlfriend, and 4 days later, I had my wisdom teeth taken out. Due to the pain, lack of sleep, heartbreak, and stress I was under, I think my mental state then could only be described as insane. My depression went from the usual mild back to severe. It quickly consumed me. It was hell getting myself out of bed in the morning. I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to play video games. I could barely even bring myself to stream. Video production quickly grinded to a screeching halt, with the last bit of progress being made the day before the surgery. My mental health continued to get worse and worse. I began to have intrusive thoughts about my old boyfriend and his new girlfriend. Very, very vivid thoughts. Ones that would leave me with my head buried in my hands, muttering to myself repetitively to stop thinking about it. Multiple times I caught myself pacing, talking to myself. I found myself making a fully subtitled 22-minute video of myself venting for nobody to ever watch. I also got back into art for the sake of venting, and some of the stuff I produced genuinely looks like it belongs on a page from Slender. One day, I actually shaved the entire top half of my leg on a whim, which wasn't really smart as now I have to hide it. And that's where I am now. Alone, a little insane, and extremely depressed. You'd think that with COVID I would have had more time to work on the video, but sadly that wasn't the case. Originally, I'd planned to release the next Minecraft Memories video in April, but I ran into technical difficulties, and it got pushed back to May, then June, and then to August. Now I'm not even sure when it's going to be released. I go to college in 9 days, and that's going to bring a whole new set of adventures with it. But let it be known that I haven't given up, nor plan on ever giving up for that matter. I just need a little time to get back on my feet is all. I need to take care of myself. This video series is a step towards my dream, and I made a promise to myself a long time ago that I would never let anything get in my way. Moral of the story? Never give up. 2020 has been hard for all of us. Your pain is valid, your distress is valid. Don't be afraid to take a break, but never give up. I realized this video was a bit of a mess, and that the message at the end may not have made much sense. This started as more of a vent than anything, but I wanted to provide an update on why I hadn't posted a video in 8 months. Oh, and a future Magikiv, or me, I know you have the capacity to succeed, and be successful. If you ever feel alone, remember to check on the tower. Perhaps that can make you feel a little less alone. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll try and get that video out as soon as possible. I promise.